After the 2025 NFL Draft wrapped up, Philadelphia Eagles fans had even more reasons to be excited. And no, it wasn't just about the rookies joining the squad. The league dropped another major piece of news. Compensatory picks for the next draft were officially announced. And guess who came out looking pretty strong? Yep, the Eagles walked away with 3 additional picks for 2026, boosting what was already looking like a stacked draft arsenal. But hold on, before we dive into all those juicy details, I got a question for you. If you had to give the Eagles offseason a letter grade from A to F, what would it be? Seriously, think about the Super Bowl win, the free agency moves, and the draft strategy. Let me know your take in the comments. Now, let's talk about why these compensatory picks matter and how Philly managed to earn them. According to data from a cap tracking website that's been pretty reliable when it comes to forecasting this kind of stuff, the Eagles were awarded 3 compensatory picks thanks to some key player departures. And looking at the breakdown, it all makes sense. The NFC East got a few of these picks scattered around, but the Eagles were one of the biggest winners. So let's take a look at the names that triggered these picks: Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, and Mekhi Becton. Starting with Milton Williams. He left the Eagles after the draft and ended up signing a significant deal with another team. His contract value and the role he's expected to play factored heavily into Philly receiving a 3rd-round compensatory pick. That's huge. 3rd-rounders don't grow on trees, and to get one in return for a departing player is a pretty sweet deal. Williams had been a consistent contributor on the defensive line, and while it hurts to see him go, the Eagles' front office clearly had a plan in place. Then there's Josh Sweat. This one stings a bit more, not just because of his talent, but also because of the journey he had in Philly. Drafted out of Florida State, he turned out to be a gem, outperforming his draft position and turning into a serious playmaker off the edge. But with the coaching staff changes and salary cap realities, Sweat found a new home and signed a solid deal elsewhere. That move will net the Eagles a 4th-round compensatory pick, which again is solid value. It's always tough to see a fan favorite walk, but the compensation softens the blow. Now, Mekhi Becton's story is a little different. He came to the Eagles not as a star, but as a gamble, someone who had once been a 1st-round pick for another team, but had fallen off due to injuries and inconsistent play. The Eagles picked him up hoping he could bounce back as a versatile backup on the offensive line. And then opportunity came knocking. An injury to another lineman during camp opened the door, and Becton slid into the right guard spot. He showed flashes of that potential he once had, and before long, he earned himself a short-term deal with another team. Just like that, the Eagles picked up another compensatory pick, this time projected in the 5th round. So when you put it all together, Philly is looking at 3 extra selections in the 2026 draft. 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, and 1 in the 5th. That's draft capital you can work with. But here's the kicker. It's not just about these 3 picks. The Eagles already went into the 2025 draft with 8 selections. They didn't have a ton of holes to fill, but general manager Howie Roseman decided to get aggressive. He ended up making 10 picks, hitting double digits for only the 3rd time in his career. That's not something this team does often, which tells you they're loading up for something big. And doesn't stop there. Howie wasn't just thinking about this year. He was already laying the groundwork for next year's draft. During the draft weekend itself, the Eagles pulled off a few trades to stockpile more picks for 2026. Add those to the 3 compensatory picks, and you start to get a clear picture. This team isn't just playing for now, they're playing for the future. Right now, looking ahead, they've got their own 1st, 2nd, and 3rd-round picks locked in. Then you throw in the compensatory 3rd from Milton Williams, plus another 3rd from a previous trade, and you're talking about 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. That's elite-level draft positioning. And it doesn't stop there. The Eagles also hold a 4th-rounder of their own, another 4th-rounder acquired via trade, their original 5th-round pick, a 5th from the Texans, another from the Falcons, and a compensatory 5th from the Becton deal. And don't forget about their 7th-rounder too. That's 12 total picks in the 2026 draft. 7 of those are within the top 5 rounds, and 5 are in the first 3 rounds. That's the kind of capital that allows you to either build through the draft or make aggressive moves to climb the board or even swing trades for proven talent. It's all on the table. Now, just for some context, the 2025 draft had 102 selections in the first 3 rounds. So when we talk about Philly holding 5 picks in that range for next year, it's a pretty big deal. That means they'll likely be making multiple selections among the top 105 players. And depending on how many compensatory picks are handed out next year, it could be even more valuable. It's the kind of situation that gives you flexibility. You can draft for need, you can go best player available, or you can trade up for someone special. And let's not forget, this all comes fresh off a Super Bowl win. The Eagles just took down the Kansas City Chiefs and got their revenge for that heartbreaking loss a couple years ago. Now they've got their second Lombardi trophy since 2017, and the city of Philadelphia turned up for the celebration. Broad Street was packed. There was a victory parade that made its way all the way to the Art Museum. The team even got the full presidential treatment with a trip to the White House. It's been a magical few months for this organization. But the best part? This roster is young, deep, and ridiculously talented. They've managed to keep most of their core pieces locked in for the foreseeable future. That's not luck. That's smart planning and elite front office work. And speaking of that front office, let's give some credit where it's due. Howie Roseman absolutely crushed it with this draft. If I had to slap a letter grade on it, I'd give him a solid B. It wasn't perfect. There were a few picks that raised eyebrows, but overall, he addressed needs, added depth, and gave this team the kind of flexibility that contenders dream of. Some analysts were even more generous, throwing out A- grades and praising the Eagles for being one of the most well-run organizations in the league. Looking ahead to next year, the 2026 draft class is already being hyped as deeper and more talented than the one we just saw. That gives the Eagles yet another opportunity to load up and bring in difference makers. And the thing that really separates them from other teams is how they prepare. They're not just drafting for today, they're drafting with tomorrow in mind. That's why you see moves like drafting Cam Jurgens to eventually take over for Jason Kelce, or Jalen Carter stepping into the shoes of Fletcher Cox. Even Nolan Smith, with his raw talent and upside, with a nod to the fact that Brandon Graham can't play forever. And speaking of staying sharp, one of the most impressive things about the Eagles organization right now is how they manage contracts and roster transitions. This front office doesn't just react to problems as they come, they're proactive. When you look around the league, not every team does that. Some franchises wait too long to extend their stars. Others hold on to aging veterans past their prime. But the Eagles? They've figured out a system that works. They routinely extend their key players early, often locking them in at 60 to 70% of what they might command on the open market later. That gives them an edge, not just financially, but competitively. It gives the team security, it gives the players stability, and it frees up cap space to keep building the roster the right way. It's all about identifying future value before the rest of the league catches on. Take someone like Cam Jurgens. The second the team saw signs that Jason Kelce might be nearing the end of his career, they already had Jurgens waiting in the wings. Same with Jalen Carter stepping into the role Fletcher Cox once dominated. And let's not forget Nolan Smith. He wasn't just a flashy draft pick. He was insurance for Brandon Graham's inevitable departure, a future cornerstone off the edge who's already drawing praise for his raw athleticism and relentless motor. This kind of foresight is rare. Most teams don't think that far ahead. The Eagles, on the other hand, are constantly setting the stage for the next big transition. Even on the defensive side of the ball, they've been doing this for years. They're not just reacting to players leaving. They're planning 2, sometimes 3 years ahead. Moro Ojomo, for instance, was picked with the understanding that he could eventually replace Milton Williams. Kali Ringo is being groomed as a possible long-term answer in the secondary, especially if the team moves on from a veteran like Darius Slay. And let's not forget how they approach the offensive line. It's no secret that Philly has consistently had one of the best offensive lines in the league, and that's not by accident. It's because they never stop drafting and developing talent in the trenches. Even when the starters are set, the Eagles keep adding depth, preparing for the future. They know that keeping the quarterback upright and creating lanes for the run game is foundational. That's why they used 3 more picks on offensive linemen in the most recent draft. And with Jeff Stoutland coaching them up, you know those guys are going to develop into legitimate NFL players. The scary part is they're not just building for depth, they're building for dominance. That's what makes this team so dangerous. If everything goes according to plan, they're not just going to be good for 1 or 2 more seasons. They're setting themselves up for a legitimate run at becoming a dynasty. And sure, staying healthy is a big part of that. Injuries can derail even the best laid plans. But so far, the signs are encouraging. The team has avoided major setbacks, and with the way they've constructed this roster, they're better equipped than most to weather the inevitable bumps and bruises of a long NFL season. There's just something about this team right now. You can feel it. There's confidence. There's cohesion. There's leadership at every level, from the ownership group to the front office to the locker room. Jeffrey Lurie sets the tone at the top, empowering people like Howie Roseman to be bold and forward-thinking. Nick Sirianni brings the right balance of energy, toughness, and adaptability. And then you've got the heart and soul guys like Big Dom, whose influence behind the scenes can't be overstated. It's a well-oiled machine, and it shows on the field. What's even more impressive is how this culture has extended beyond just the team. The city of Philadelphia is buzzing. The fan base is fired up, and rightfully so. This isn't just a team that wins. It's a team that represents the grit and identity of the city. They've got swagger, but they back it up. They've got star power, but they play like underdogs. They've got a target on their backs, but they don't flinch. That kind of mentality is rare in professional sports, and when you find it, you've got to ride the wave as long as it lasts. And let's be honest, it's a great time to be an Eagles fan. The excitement from the Super Bowl win is still fresh. The images of that Lombardi Trophy parade through the streets are still etched in everyone's minds. The visit to the White House, the cheers, the tears, the pure joy, it's all still there. And yet, this team isn't satisfied. They're not sitting back and resting on their accomplishments. They're hungry for more. They know how hard it is to get to the top, and they know how much harder it is to stay there. That's why the front office is loading up on draft picks. That's why they're preparing 2 years in advance. That's why they're stockpiling talent in the trenches and grooming the next generation of stars. Because they've seen the formula work, and they're sticking to it. Every successful franchise in NFL history has had a plan, a long-term vision that goes beyond just winning the next game. And the Eagles are showing week after week, month after month, that they're committed to building something sustainable. Even the merchandise scene is buzzing. Whether you're a diehard, a casual fan, or someone just jumping on a bandwagon, there's no shortage of ways to rep your team. Jerseys, hats, hoodies, you name it, it's out there. From the new rookie standout G.I. Brown to the legendary green Kelly Classics, fans have more options than ever. Whether you're dressing up the whole family or just looking to update your game day outfit, this team is making it easy to show your pride. And let's not overlook the community aspect. Social media is blowing up with Eagles content. Memes, highlights, podcasts, debates, it's all part of the culture now. Fans are more connected than ever, not just to the team, but to each other. There's something powerful about that, especially in a sports town like Philly. It's not just about football, it's about identity, it's about pride, and it's about being part of something bigger. So as we look ahead to the next chapter, there's one thing that's crystal clear. The Eagles aren't done. Not by a long shot. The draft capital is there. The leadership is in place. The roster is loaded. And hunger? Yeah, that's as strong as ever. This team is locked in, and if everything falls into place, we could be witnessing the start of something historic. The journey continues, and you can bet the entire league is watching. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a groundbreaking move that has sent shockwaves through the NFL, Tyreek Hill has officially confirmed his transfer to the Philadelphia Eagles. The dynamic wide receiver, who spent the last few years dazzling fans with his electrifying speed and playmaking ability for the Miami Dolphins, will now bring his talents to the city of brotherly love. The announcement has been met with excitement from Eagles fans and analysts alike, who are eager to see how Hill's unique skill set will mesh with the already potent offense in Philadelphia. Hill's decision to join the Eagles marks a significant moment in both his career and the future of the franchise. As one of the most explosive wide receivers in the league, Hill has established himself as a game-changer, capable of turning a routine play into a touchdown with his remarkable speed and precision. His ability to stretch the field and create mismatches for opposing defenses has made him one of the most feared players in the NFL, and his addition to the Eagles roster only amplifies their Super Bowl aspirations. For the Eagles, adding Hill is a strategic move to further solidify their offensive firepower. Quarterback Jalen Hurts, coming off a breakout season, now has another elite weapon at his disposal. Hill's arrival offers Hurts an experienced and versatile target, capable of contributing in both short and long-range passing plays. The combination of Hill's deep threat ability and Hurts' growing skill set as a dual-threat quarterback creates a tantalizing prospect for the Eagles' offense. Beyond the on-field impact, Hill's arrival also has significant implications for the Eagles' locker room. His leadership and proven track record in high-pressure situations make him a valuable asset, not just as a player, but as a mentor for the younger talent on the team. Hill's Super Bowl experience and his ability to perform in clutch moments will be invaluable as the Eagles look to return to championship contention in the coming years. The move has, however, raised questions about the Eagles' future salary cap situation and how the team will adjust its roster to accommodate Hill's contract. While the Eagles' front office has been praised for its ability to make bold moves in recent seasons, the balance between maintaining financial flexibility and building a championship roster will be put to the test. Regardless, the addition of Tyreek Hill has certainly injected a renewed sense of optimism and excitement into Philadelphia, as fans now look forward to what promises to be a thrilling season ahead. As the Eagles prepare for the upcoming campaign, all eyes will be on how quickly Hill can integrate into the offense and form a strong connection with Hurts. If the two can develop chemistry quickly, the Eagles could emerge as one of the most dangerous teams in the league, with the potential to challenge for the coveted Lombardi Trophy. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.